Welcome to Gulfstream Park West and the Fall Turf Festival. Ron Nicoletti along with Pete ILO here. We're going to start the day with a fast main track. Turf course is listed as firm. Pete, we got a carryover in the Rainbow Six. Going to start in race number 5, and it's $12,000 plus. There was one horse alive for it yesterday. Was the 2-horse. Did not get the job done, so we have that carryover going into today. As I mentioned, we got a fast main track, firm turf course. 10 races on tap this afternoon. Before we get into today's card, I'm going to see what's tweeting around the country. And the first tweet that we have, Pioneer of the Nile, sire of the Triple Crown winner, now doubled to $125,000.
I'd have to imagine that's going to continue to rise. I think we're probably in AP Indy territory before everything's all said and done.
Another tweet, Tap to It, heading to the Breeders' Cup. Was really nice, this horse. Second in the Schuylerville, trained, of course, by Ralph Nix, beaten by a really nice horse in there. And, the Rachel Valentina. So wasn't beaten that badly. Going to that race, the Breeders' Cup, what do you think? What are the chances?
I think the horse has got a good chance. It's definitely battle-tested, and the race is wide open. You have Songbird to worry about, but we have a lot of local contingent horses getting ready for the Breeders' Cup, including Lady Shipman from the barn of Kathleen O'Connell. We're looking forward to, I am anyway, looking forward to seeing Lady Shipman run, looking forward to see Tap to It run, and we also are looking forward to seeing our Breeders' Cup distaff hopeful, Ronnie, Sheer Drama from the barn of Dave Fawkes, worked 5/8 the other day, and according to his daughter Natalie, did it very, very easily.
Yeah, 58.88, so what a work. Everything looks to be gold for that horse, Sheer Drama. So there you see it. Pretty darn good, it says right there, and that's, it said, looked like it did it within itself, 58.88. So nice move for those horses. So that's what's tweeting around the country. Got a couple of local horses heading to the Breeders' Cup, which is a week from Friday and Saturday, actually, of next week. Now we'll get into today's card. The first race today, 1 mile in the 16th, starter, optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. Scratch the 1, the 4, and the 5. To me, Pete, looks like a 2-horse race.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a 2-horse race here. The number 2, Russian Greek, or the number 3 in this race are your 2 contenders, Gypsy Baron. Gypsy Baron makes his South Florida debut here today. I think based on the fact that he's not been over this surface, you have to give the nod to Russian Greek.
Yeah, Russian Greek, had a little trouble. He was checked versus similar opposition. That was in its Gulfstream final, going 7 furlongs today. So a couple of scratches there. One of the horses got hurt on the way over. So we'll have a match race. How are you going to call that race?
Let's just say I'll have to mind my manners because there's a lot of different airtime. As announcers, it doesn't even stand to reason, but for us it makes sense. The big fields are the easier to call because you just have time to say who's where and just go on with it. The shorter the field, the more ad-libbing you have to do, and at least in my case, that can
you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
You're in big trouble. Let's go to race number 2. 5 furlongs. We mentioned the turf course listed as firm. Claim is 3 and up. $20,000. Scratch the main track only. Number 7, Union Label. Want to go back and show you performance of the horse. Pete, you have in third. I have on top, and that is Moonshine Sipra. This one was, really pressured through that first half mile. Didn't run badly in there. Went pretty quick in that race.
Yeah, Moonshine Sippers definitely has the quickest first gear in this race. And that's interesting because the turf course has not been quite as speed-friendly as it was across town at Gulfstream Park. But Moonshine Sipper, nevertheless, will be setting fast fractions. You can see it here, set fast fractions in this race, and actually kicked on gamely and tried to hold on to there. El Botas to the throat latch, and then the winner comes over the top. But Moonshine Sipper can take heat, and we'll see if he can take all the heat. There's not a whole lot of other speed signed in here, Ronnie, so I think he will have the early edge here, and it will be his race to win or lose.
Yeah, that's the way I saw it, that he was the controlling speed in here. But you did go with the number 6 horse in here, and that's Any Rider Il Do.
Yeah, I was talking to Ronnie Warner about this horse earlier in the summer, and he kind of told me that this horse has all the ability in the world. He's a very, very talented horse, but it's hard. He's kind of like Humpty Dumpty. He's got to get put back together again after races. So it's not surprising for me to see this horse taking a drop in class here this afternoon, but I'm going to rely on the fact that Ronnie Warner has him ready, or he wouldn't be in this race, and he has a good spot here drawn outside to see what the speed does on his inside.
Well, we both have the 5 on our ticket. It's Time to Laugh is stepping up the competition after posting its second consecutive victory at the distance when he rated off the pace and he rallied late to win. I think the hotter the pace in here, the better it'll be for this Dave Casson, Edgar Prado collaboration. Dave Casson, Edgar Prado, a good team, so we'll see how the race shapes up. You got speed. if someone goes up and challenges Moonshine Sipper, which I think they will, might set up nicely for the 5, it's time to laugh.
I think they're the top 3, and we just used them in a slightly different order. You do have a free square fence in your early pick 5 here, so definitely a race that you can consider to use a couple in here.
Let's go to race number 3 today. 7 furlongs. Maiden Claim is 3-year-olds and up. $20,000 down to $16,000. And the horse that I believe we both have the 5 blogosphere on top. I want to go back and show you the performance of the 2-horse today, the 4-horse that day, and that is My Eastern Beauty. And this one, ran pretty good, gaining 4th last time out, stretching out today.
Well, this horse has had 12 opportunities and he's yet to break through. She's had some big-time opportunities, too, including June the 11th when she was second by a neck to Starship Cosmo. I don't think she's a threat to win this race. I do, however, think she's a threat to get a minor reward. That'll be about her ceiling. Should be noted, though, that the winner of this race, How's My Gold, delivered the money yesterday as a heavy favorite, so the company line is pretty solid.
Yeah, and, I think the stretch out in distance is going to help number 2, My Eastern Beauty, but I'm in agreement with you. I don't know if this horse can win it, but certainly can be on the ticket. The horse that we both put on top, number 5, Blogosphere, is dropping to this $20,000 level. First start since breaking slowly in that race. Never really getting on track against maiden special weight. That was its debut. It was back in March. It's a gelded son of mass media. Shows a series of consistent, this is what I like, 5 furlong workouts. Gets in light with apprentice Stephanie Larici. And I like the workout pattern. That's why I went where I went.
Well, I don't know that you can use a company line when a horse has trouble and just pretty much is drubbed in his debut, but it should be noted the winner of that race, Tony Adams, got a big figure for that victory.
And we both used the 3-horse on our ticket, too, and it's El Gran Gallego, stretching out to 7 furlongs after returning from a couple of month layoff to finish a 4-wide 4th here against this same caliber competition that was going 3/4 of a mile, stretching out to 7/8 this afternoon.
Yeah, El Gran Gallego is definitely a horse that if he can put his mind to business, he was traveling a little awkwardly in the early stages of that last race. So we'll have to see if he's better suited to the surface here. That was his Gulfstream Park West debut. That's the case for a lot of the horses this time of year. They've never been over this surface. Some horses really like it. Some horses really don't. There's not a whole lot of similarities between the surfaces here at Gulfstream West and East at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, and we've been using it, or I have been using that handicapping throughout. Horses that have run well here in the past seem to run well again here. It's one of the angles that I use when I handicap these races for a horse shipping over from either out of town or from Gulfstream Park across town at our sister location. We're going to go to race 4. Go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Race 4, 1 mile and 1/16th on the turf. Maiden Claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Scratch the number 9 horse in here. I said Katie. I actually said Pete. You go with the 5, Lady Sartre.
You called me Petey. I think the only person allowed to do that is my sister. But nevertheless, the number 5, Lady Sartre, is a horse that should improve off of a debut run. She was far back and didn't show much interest at all in the early stages of that race, but came on to run a good 4th. The problem is we're trying to gauge the company lines. This division is always tricky for me. The middle-level maiden claiming division on the turf really is not my strong suit at this meeting. But I can tell you that Blavatsky came back to be 2-1 against winners and finished last just a couple of weeks ago. Noting that, I still think that based on the quality of this field, Lady Sartre just needs to take a mild step forward, and she's the one to beat.
Number 4, Kittery, who we both have in the ticket. I happen to have on top. Moved to the Jenna Antonucci Bond Vita claim. Gets both Lasix and blinkers today after rallying from really far back. Pete was 10th and last to finish 5th versus this level of competition going a mile. Getting the Lasix, getting the blinkers. I think the horse will be closer to the pace. Might have had a bleeding problem last time out. So number 4, Kittery on top of my ticket. I used the 1 in second. That's Key Dioro. Stepping up today to this $35,000 level. Returning to the turf for the Red Heart Marcus Vitale Barn. You look at its last race, duel for the lead, weakened late to finish 3rd. That was a $20,000 maiden test at Gulfstream that was moved from the grass to a sealed sloppy track. I like this horse going back to the turf today. The barn has been hot, and I think, stepping up, I see it as a lateral move.
Well, I think that Key Dioro is definitely going to be part of the pace picture in here. Luca Panici not known for trying to be on the offensive early. The pace picture is a key part of this race. The 1 Key Dioro has speed. I expect the 3 Association will be forwardly placed. And, of course, number 8 Zyar Destiny will be forwardly placed. But here's another wild card in the race, and it's my 3rd play, number 2 Rock Hard Lady. She takes a drop in class. She had a terrible debut run, but she had to get something out of it, if nothing more than a mental experience. Trainer Gustavo Delgado puts her right in it for attack. bag, but also sends her long. She's by Rock Hard 10, so she's bred to go long. She's out of a Demons Be Gone mare. 2 turns is her game. Not sure about the turf, but the price will be right. Jaramillo's been riding long shots very, very well the last couple weeks.
Yeah, 12-1 on the morning line, so a nice price on the ticket there for race number 4. Anything else, Pete, while we flip the page?
I think this is a race, again, you have a free square in your early pick 5. Use a couple horses in this race. I think it's a race you're going to need some coverage in.
Well, race number 5, we mentioned where the Rainbow Six starts today with that $12,000 plus a carryover in the pool. It's a 1 mile claim at 3 and up, $6,250. Scratch the 2, scratch the 3. The jockey on the number 1 horse is Luca Panici, and I went with the 5, Pete, here, Pro Gold, a previous winner here. We just mentioned that, a horse that has run well in the past 2 starts with that 1 victory. Definitely does his best running on the fast track. 18 races on the fast track. He's got 4 wins there. Returns after hitting the board in 1 of 2 recent races versus similar on wet tracks. I think this horse moves forward. It's going to be a fast track this afternoon, and I think that gives me a Pro Gold on the top of my ticket. Going to go deep here. I'm not going to just use that horse. Going to go deep and, use the number 1 in here, and that's Storm Warnings that we mentioned, who is going to be ridden today by Luca Panici.
Storm Warnings has something that nobody else in this race can say they have, and that's 2 victories over the Gulfstream Park West surface. Source actually is 5 for 6 in the money over this track. I think that he should stand to improve. He bounced 2 starts ago, so throw that race completely out. And then last time out, it just was not a good pace scenario for him. The winner of that race, Capital City, did do it right near the lead. Should be noted in here that number 4, Palatine Hill, is your 8-5 morning line favorite, a horse that might be odds on in this race, and Ronnie and I have dismissed him completely.
Yeah, we both did not pick him on the ticket, but we did both use the 7, Rome Burn. Now in the Marcial Navarro bond, this previous winner here will try a 2-turn mile. After showing early interest, he faded against the same caliber competition, but that was going a 1-turn mile across town. The barn really sharp with new additions to their shed row. Orlando Boca Chica today in the saddle, so this horse looks like he's going to be up there and early on and getting interested early.
Well, this horse intrigues me. Why does Marcial Navarro want him is what I want to know. He has 3 out of his last 4 races were pretty bad. Yet Marcial Navarro, who does very, very good work, is taking over the training duties here. I think that horse should move up here this afternoon. And you touched on something that I definitely think for this race meet is important. 1-turn mile versus 2-turn mile. I think there's a huge difference, and I think that closers have a much better chance over the 2-turn mile here at Gulfstream Park West. That's good news for my top horse and your top horse. They'll both be rallying from the back.
Well, I also used the number 8, Seeking the Perfect. It's going to try the $6,250 open claimers after stalking the pace, finishing 3rd. That was its local debut. It was 12-5 condition claimers. Gennady Dorochenko, Manny Aguilar in the saddle this afternoon. I know, Pete, you don't like this jump up in competition going from condition to open company on the board at 10-1. Thought maybe this horse can grab a share.
Source also, his only 2 victories came in my former stomping grounds of Cincinnati, Ohio at Belterra Park. The water's much deeper here.
Well, much deeper here. I want to mention before we go to the next race, we got a strong wind today, a headwind coming out there, and Pete and I were talking about it might help the speed today.
Yeah, it's always something that confuses me, but they explained it to me that the speed gets to run into the tailwind down the backside, and then the closers have to run into the headwind turning for home. So logically, in my mind, it's always backwards. I would think that the closers would have a good chance during a headwind because of that stiff resistance turning for home, but the logic is actually reversed. The science says otherwise, with horses on the lead getting to draft along early, and then the closers having to deal with the headwind after they tracked early.
Yeah, and we're looking at the flags that are right out there and they're stiff, so it's a pretty strong wind. Otherwise, we pay much attention to it, but this could be something that you might want to look at first couple of races here, see how that is affecting either the speed or the closes. Race number 6, we're going back to the turf. It's a 5-furlong sprint. Maiden claimers, fillies, 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratch the number 3 horse in here, Shock Dude, and you went and I both went with always every time we're alike. I have to think about it twice. We went with 2, Devilish Kitten.
Yeah, for me, this is a solid single. I think this horse wins and wins easy. Comes in from Kentucky Downs. Not only was she up there facing a surface she'd never been over, she was facing a state she'd never been over. She was facing a sex she'd never seen because she ran against the boys. And she was facing stiffer competition. Listen, Ronnie, when you're running a maiden race for $122,000, there's going to be some good horses in it.
Right.
And I think Devilish Kitten will relish the return to South Florida and relish the return to facing girls here this afternoon.
And she may tip the hand. She's got that bullet half-mile workout, so it looks like she's in good form for today's race. That's number 2, Devilish Kitten. And Kentucky Downs, I was talking a little earlier on the OTB show that I never know when the finish line's coming. I'm watching the screen, and all of a sudden, here comes another part. I think I won the race or lost the race, and then whoop, there's another 16th of a mile to go. It's really tricky camera angles.
And it's also a tricky course. They have undulating conditions there. It's European style, so that they actually run a little bit downhill, turning for home, and then a little bit uphill down the backside. Devilish Kitten had never seen that course, had never seen that company, but there is one big caveat here. Devilish Kitten has been in this role before. She's been odds-on in her 2 races in South Florida and lost both times.
Well, number 6, Layla's Way, is dropping to the $25,000 level after a solid turf debut against $35,000 maidens, in which she circled the field in that race. 5 wide, she finished 4th, but she was only beaten 2 lengths. And I think if the pace collapses in here, a horse like number 6, Layla's Way, can get up there and get the job done.
I like the 1 better than the 6. The 1 horse is your third play, Cowtown Jane. She adds Lasix for her second start. I think she's expected to show more speed today. I know that if I was jockey Harry Hernandez and I had the rail going 5/8 over this course with the heavy favorite right to my outside, you bet rest assured I'm going to send, because I think this horse is quick enough to get in position, and inside position with the favorite on your outside. Always a good idea.
And getting Lasix today, so it should help number 1, Cowtown Jane. You also used the number 7 in here.
That was the best of the rest type play. Trainer Hernan Parra has blown up the tote board on multiple occasions. Once this year at Gulfstream Park, paying over $100 to win. I used him out of respect.
Oh, there you go. Let's go to race number 7 this afternoon, and this is a 6-furlong claimer for 2-year-olds, $25,000. 2 scratches in the race. Number 1, Awesome Dancer. Also scratch number 7, Little Awesome. So all the awesome horses have been taken out of race number 7 today. And I'll start it off, Pete. I went with the number 6, and that is Flashing Light. Is dropping to this $25,000 level with blinkers added after dueling for the lead, flattening out in that race to finish 4th in his local debut at the $35,000 level. Larry Pilati, who has 2 horses in this race, or the other one being Strong Composition, has Eddie Castro atop this half of the uncoupled entry. I like the fact that this horse is adding blinkers today on the program today at second choice at 4-1.
Well, the morning line favorite in this race is my top play in the race, and she comes with good news and bad news. I already just did a little foreshadowing there. I said she. This race is for boys. That's the bad news. Go, Row, Row, Go is facing the boys here this afternoon. The good news is she's taking a drop in class, and the runner-up in that last race, Can Do, came back to beat a pretty salty field yesterday in our allowance feature. The winner of that race, Above Fashion, has won back-to-back races, so company lines are solid. The only problem is, what does she do facing the boys?
And she was pretty impressive breaking her maiden for a $25,000 tag. They put her right back in that race you were just talking about. So back to a logical level this afternoon. Pete, I also used the 5 in here, Prayer and the Song, back on the main track today after following the 3rd place finish behind the Flashing Light, the horse I have on top, going 5.5 furlongs. That was on the dirt. It was back on September 11. Comes back, duels and fades against $75,000 optional claimers, going 5/8 on the grass. Safi Joseph Jr. Ready for the surface switch. Bullet 3 furlong drill over at Gulfstream Park, and I like the fact that this horse is going back to the main track today.
Speed is your weapon of choice, and that's good because the awesome horses, both Awesome Dancer and Little Awesome, both had some speed, so now things will be easier for Prayer and a Song. Prayer and a Song is the little brother of Take Time to Pray, who's also very, very fast, so speed is definitely the way this horse wants to do business.
And what about the 3, Set and Go?
I think if the pace were to collapse, Set and Go was part of my plays, figuring that the 1, 7, and 5 would do too much too soon. It is a 2-year-old race. Sometimes the pace develops quicker than you think. One thing's for sure, Set and Go will be rallying from off the speed. I like the way that he closed to win his debut run. He's taking a step up in class, but the price will be right.
Let's go to race number 8 this afternoon, 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, or 3-year-olds. The claiming level, $30,000 down to $25,000. Scratch the 7 and the number 8 in here, and I like a horse in here today, so I will start. The horse I have is my best bet on the card, and that's 3, Blame It on Tequila. An impressive winner at this level back in August. Drops after facing tougher in a pair of allowance races. That was going a mile and a 16th and a mile respectively. The trainer is Kristen Mulholland. She unites this son of Keela with Jesus Carlos Rios, and he was aboard for the victory back on August 7th. I just think the class dropped this spot. I respect the barn. I think this is a good spot for this horse. You know, I have to use the horse you have on top two, maybe on my Super High 5 ticket or on my Pick 5 ticket, but I think the number 3 Blame It on Tequila is strictly the one to beat.
Yeah, and I think that the top two you see, Easement and Blame It on Tequila. Tactically, Blame It on Tequila has the advantage with a little more speed. Easement will be a victim of the pace, but he's closed ground against some nice horses over the summer. I thought these were the top two. I just flip-flopped them because I heard Blame It on Tequila was your best bet, so I didn't want to cold water you.
You didn't want to cold water because we both pick the same. It usually doesn't work out. That, you know, Easement's the son of War Chant. Pretty good on the grass. He's got 9 races, 2 wins, a second and 2/3. He spotted perfectly today for the return. Other horse I used, Pete, was the 6 Tiger Bourbon. Moved to the 1 Arias Bonvita Claim. Going to step up the competition today after finishing a troubled third. Lacked a little bit of room in that race. Was a 12-5 condition claimer across town. Arias is pretty strong at the meeting thus far. Going into yesterday, he had 5 starts here with 3 wins in the third. So 60% win average for Juan Arias. Jose Alvarez will be in the saddle.
Juan Arias, also the trainer of Double Judge, who definitely takes time between his races. Why is that relevant? Well, the guy can definitely nurse horses along. He's given Tiger Bourbon some time off, and Tiger Bourbon has a role here. He's going to have to keep Blame It on Tequila honest. He has tactical speed, and he'll be a decent price. So if you think that the top two are maybe not as good as we think they are, maybe you include Tiger Bourbon in your multi-leg
Well,
play.
I know the 8 up there is a main track only you did not pick. So
No, Krishy underneath. He's won his last 2 races. He was impressive on the turf 2 starts ago. He's doing the right things right now. I thought he had a chance here.
So give a 2, 3, 4 to Pete in race number 8. 9th race today, 1 mile allowance, optional claimer, fillies, 2-year-olds, $75,000, 7 runners in the field. Want to go back and show you the performance of a Silent Prayer. And Silent Prayer has hit the board in 3 of divisions of the Florida Sire Stakes. Turn it back to a mile today. Let's go back and show you the past performance. Can't reel in her stablemate today. What happened? Okay, let's go to race number 9. As I mentioned, we did not have the video there. Silent Prayer, who hit the board in 3 divisions of the Florida Sire Stakes, turning back to a mile after rallying to finish third. There it is now.
Silent Prayer is coming down the center of the race course. The winner is Ballet Diva, who's on the engine here. She was well regarded in that race. Hits High Time, her arch nemesis. Ballet Diva wins the race. Silent Prayer comes second. That was 7 furlongs going 1 turn. She tried 2 turns last time out, and it was just an even effort, losing to a maiden coming in, Floridora. For me, this is a 2-horse race, but I lean strongly in the favor of number 4, Chief Attraction. If you wanted to watch her last race, you wouldn't have to watch very much because Leva pretty much wraps her up at the quarter pole. You don't see horses win as easy as she did last time out. She was hammered at the windows. She looks like a horse that will appreciate 2 turns. The longer, the better. I think that's the problem. Silent Prayer is good enough to get a slice of this, but I can't imagine this is her best trip.
Yeah, she was the odds-on choice last time out. We're talking about the 4 Chief Attraction. Bill Kaplan has her training sharply for this assignment. So we got a little bit of a disagreement here with our top 2. We're going to get an exacta box in there. It looks like there might be a pancake bet here.
I was just going to say, no exacta box. My best bet of the day here is Chief Attraction. Go back and watch her last race and tell me that she was not impressive. The winner of her debut run was Above Fashion, who came back to beat Can Do, and Can Do came back yesterday to beat a strong field of allowance horses. Solid company lines, taking the right step and doing 2 turns, which she will like better than her rival on the inside.
Bet.
Double or nothing. I owe him from last week, fans.
All right, we got a bet on that one, the 2 against the 4. What about the 5, Katir Rock, who might upset both of us, stretching out to a mile after returning from a 2-month layoff to finish a late-running 4th behind that horse you mentioned a little earlier, Above Fashion and Classy Can Do. That's the same race, the 6 furlong, $75,000 optional claimer. Antonio Sano, Marcos Menendez, is going to stretch out in distance today, coming out of that pretty nice race.
And she wants long, so that's what I think is the upset possibility. Katira Rock wants to run long, so this would be a good idea today.
Well, let's wrap up the Thursday card with a 5 furlong turf event. Claimers, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $8,000. Scratch the number 11 horse in here, and both Pete and I have the number 8, Casey Weigman, on top of our ticket.
Yes, but it doesn't come with a strong endorsement for me. This horse is also going to be a victim of the pace. Going to have to do something that horses have not done so far at this meet, which is rally very, very far back, going 5 furlongs. You've been able to make ground on the course. In fact, I think there's probably a bias that that way. But when you're sprinting, it's hard to do what he did last time, which was be last early and rally to win the race. Last time he was last early and rallied to be second.
Yeah, and he was flattered last time out. A couple of horses in that race came back to win their next starts. One called Super Secret and the other one called Harry He. So beat a couple of next out winners in there. I also used the 6 in here, Back to Values. Should be primed and ready to score after returning from the freshening set. Really swift fractions of 21-3, 44-3 to finish second here at this level and distance. I believe this horse is going to be running and gunning as soon as they pop the gate latch.
Well, we have side bets all the time. I lost a side bet while taking Back to Values the day that he finished behind Guayram Barrow. That was 2 starts ago, so I didn't want to jinx him. I had too much respect to jinx him on the picking him on top. You should note that the winner of his last race, Dr. J-Dub, came back to win again yesterday. It's not italicized in your racing form, so Back to Values, if he's good and he's on his game, he's very much a contender here, and he won't be favored.
And what about number 9, Abran Paso?
He won't be favored either. And I think that from a tactical standpoint, he probably will sit a better trip early than Casey Wegman just to his inside. Abran Paso and Casey Wegman, 2 stretch dangers. They'll have to negotiate traffic and work out trips in the Thursday finale.
Well, that's how we see the Thursday card. Pete, what do you think?
I think that I'm going to get some nice redemption because I'm not going to owe you any pancakes. The chief attraction will beat Silent Prayer. That is a guarantee.
It's a beautiful day here in South Florida, and we are going to turn it over to Pete to give you the up changes in just a moment. Good luck, everybody.